I think they're underrated and like reduced to only like a one-hit wonder because of Face Down nowadays.
That song is so good,
It's
though.
so good. Again, and you don't get tired of it.
When we were young, 2024, all album plays. We're going to hear albums that we know. We're going to hear albums we don't know. Maybe there's one that I know. Maybe there's one you don't know. Maybe there's one you know I don't know. You know, I don't know.
It's a back and forth. Yeah.
We don't know. I don't know. Who knows?
There's no way we can all know all the albums.
There's no way we can know every album. But
until now,
we're going to try to help. We are reviewing all 56 records being played at When We Were Young 2024. We're doing it all. 56 albums, less than 56 weeks away from the festival. So we're going through them all. This episode, we are reviewing the Red Jumpsuit Apparatus, Don't You Fake It. And this is a record.
Wow.
Lizzie, why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about the background of this record?
Yeah, so Don't You Fake It was the debut and for like the first ever music that at least I can find on Spotify for the Red Jumpsuit Apparatus, and it came out on July 18th, 2006 on Virgin Records.
Yep, major label.
But this debuted at 25 on the Billboard 200. They had 3 singles off of this album, which is Face Down, which everybody knows, False Pretense, and Your Guardian Angel. Now, Face Down was posted on their MySpace as like, here it is first for you guys, and then was released a couple days later as a music video to everybody. MySpace being used as like this like
it was
different
the only
marketing
spot.
technique is so
it was
cool
the
to
only
me.
place.
That's so
aside from like other
wild.
specific like non-social media-esque websites.
Right. Well, at that time, that was like pretty much the only social media besides like forums.
Correct.
Yeah. And then the AOL stream got the full album a day early before it was released.
AOL was like,
That's
we are on the
insane.
forefront of culture. Not only do you get our disc in the mail, but we are at the forefront of culture. Company doesn't even exist no more. That's why we don't have any culture anymore.
The culture's gone.
So the culture
Those
left.
who still have that at AOL email are the
yeah.
ones with the full culture.
Yeah. MySpace and AOL left and culture ended.
The culture brought Your Guardian Angel to the radio at the very least. It was a radio release that following August after it came out. I don't recall this being on the radio, but I remember hearing people talk about Red Jumpsuit and they would say Your Guardian Angel or Face Down. So it was at least those two in reference to them when somebody would talk about it to like somebody who didn't know who they were. So I guess it worked in that one way. In 2014, they re-released it as a remaster with 2 additional songs. It was certified platinum in 2016. And also I was re-listening to this album, and I remembered they are considered a Christian rock band.
Yes, they are.
And I almost forgot about that, but I remember when I was in high school finding, because I had one friend who took me to her one Christian church. It was very strange for me growing up Catholic. So I was like, what the fuck is this? Why do you have an acoustic guitar? I don't get it. But she would show me similar music. So like Skillet, Fireflight, Flyleaf, things of that nature. So it all kind of came together, and it made sense for us at the time that we were listening to that type of music.
Lizzie, why don't you tell us about what you think? But before you do, if you're enjoying our reviews of these albums, if you enjoy Red Jumpsuit Apparatus, and if you like the idea of knowing every record going into When We Were Young Fest, make sure to subscribe. Drop a little subscription down there so that you know when we post all of the rest of our reviews. They're all coming. They're all coming down the subscribers. So make sure you're clicking the button.
I will say I really like this album. I really like the Red Jumpsuit Apparatus. And when I was listening to all these songs again, because I haven't listened to this album in full in a few years, I really, really enjoyed this album then, and I really enjoyed it again now. And I went back and I listened to the re-release version. I feel that this is a very underrated album because I don't see a lot of people talk about Red Jumpsuit Apparatus outside of Face Down. And I think it is because sometimes they get lost in that like Christian rock category and like the stigma obviously that comes with a lot of that too, that surrounds a lot of it. My top songs from here, because I was trying to go through and I'm like, what are my favorites? And I'm like, majority of these I really do like love. Even though there are a lot of like the criticisms that came from this were like really split. But my favorites are the opening track In Fate's Hands, Atrophy, Misery Loves Its Company. My least favorites, like just like I don't hate it, but it's like it's okay, it's there, is 17/8 Own Sweet, Justify and the bonus track Disconnected. Disconnected sound like they were trying to be a traditional pop punk band way too hard, and like they didn't need to be, was the issue here. Because they are so much heavier, like it sounds like that they would fall more in line with like Under Oath with like the musicality of it. So I was like, I get you're probably trying to experiment what's going to work here, but this works okay. Don't do that other one.
I'm not Red Jumpsuit Apparatus. You don't have to tell me.
Damn.
Yeah, I can't change what this record from '06 did.
But Brian, what do you think about this, bestie?
This album was pretty mid.
Stop.
So I feel like a lot of the songs that were not the singles were them trying to figure out how to be a heavy band versus the singles, which are like, they're all cohesive. They all sound really good. And this is clearly the sound. But then all the other songs that were not the singles sounded like they were adding in like story of the year style hardcore stuff, which is really disappointing only because I really want to like Red Jumpsuit Apparatus. The 4 singles, I'm including Damn Regret in that, are absolutely god tier records.
No, Damn Regret also goes.
Those are god tier songs. Like Face Down is so good.
I will say
False Pretense is so good.
Face Down. So I'm somebody who, we've talked about this before. We get sick and tired of playing some of the singles, and like it's hard to listen to it for a bit. I don't get tired of listening to Face Down.
Still not tired of it.
Like I do get tired of re-listening to I'm Not Okay over and over.
Yep. I have not gotten tired of Face Down since I've heard the song for the first time.
Yeah.
And straight up, Your Guardian Angel is one of the best songs.
I cry.
It's so good. I honestly am like, this album is better because those 4 songs are so good. Everything else just ends up kind of being like not as interesting to me because it does just sound like they're derivative of a lot of other bands that were doing very similar things. Clearly, Red Jumpsuit Apparatus has a style that they're doing with these singles, and they should have done that 12 times instead of just 4 times. This is basically like a rock band from the South. They're from Florida. So it's sort of in that Christian style and all that. It sort of felt like they're doing what essentially is butt rock at that time. And they're very often thrown in with like butt rock style too. It didn't feel so emo as it did like active rock is now. It felt like that from '06. I didn't dislike any song. My only song that I really was like, I don't necessarily like this one is Cat and Mouse.
No, I went back and forth with that one, and Misery Loves Its Company, but I really love Misery Loves Its Company.
I like Misery Loves Its Company. I'm like, Cat and Mouse didn't work for me. And I felt like because Your Guardian Angel is the very clear best possible ballad on the record, they didn't need a second slow song. Everything else could have just been like more rocky, more heavy, and just kept the energy up. You didn't need a second ballad. There's nothing benefiting because as soon as you get to Your Guardian Angel, you're like, wait a minute, this song is so good. I think my overall review is just your 4 songs on this are so good that it doesn't matter what else you put on this record.
Like those could have been an EP and Brian would have been satisfied.
I would have been like, dude, like gold, absolute gold on this record for those 4 songs. Other songs, I'm like, all right. Even going in listening, I was like, I don't know if I remember Damn Regret. And then I'm like, wait, I do.
You remember.
I do.
And then there are other stuff with like You Better Pray and everything. Oh, so good. That's the thing. Like I think they're underrated and like reduced to only like a one-hit wonder because of Face Down nowadays.
That song is so good,
it's
though.
So good. Again, and you don't get tired of it like these other songs.
Yeah, they had a hit, and clearly like the numbers speak for itself. The platinum record in 2016 speaks for itself. Mm-hmm. Like there's no shade on how good that song is. And I'm not at all critiquing Red Jumpsuit Apparatus for anything they've ever done because that song is so good. So that's what we think of the record. But there are some people out there who have also reviewed this record, whether in an article, whether in a magazine, whether in an online forum, a MySpace page, or on Amazon Reviews.
The prime place that we always go.
Amazon Reviews. So here are a couple of reviews from Amazon of this record. This one is from Destroya, here's Smix 666. This is a review from 2012. The review is titled Beyond Satisfactory If This Is What You Were Looking For. When I had finally saved up enough money, I was hard tied to figure out if I should buy a Godzilla movie, this CD, or the Seasons After CD. I went with this one and the Godzilla movie. This is what I was looking for to the letter. As soon as your stereo begins playing the songs, you're thrown into the music and could lose yourself in it very fast. I sure did. The first 4 songs are very fast beat, very engaging. The next 2 after that somewhat simmer you down, and then you're brought back up with songs 7 through 10. The last listed song cools you down again, and you feel good that you just wasted, etc. your time on this CD. It's been almost a year now since I bought the CD, and it still delivers. If you like metal, hard rock, screamo, or are just looking for something new to try out, this is highly recommended. This is another review, 4 stars, from Michael Goodwin. This was written in 2015. Great CD. For a first attempt, they did a great job. Just didn't love every song, though. So I'd say 8 out of 10 of them were very well made. So I'll give it 4 out of 5 since it does get sizable play in my car.
Okay. That's enough. That's
good.
Yeah.
This is a 3-star review written by Renee Mayer from 2014. Title of the review is Excellent Service. The actual service I received in ordering this CD for my son was great. I also received it before the expected arrival date, which is always a nice surprise. I will definitely recommend this seller for purchasing CDs. Unfortunately for this musical group, I'm not loving the CD itself. End of review.
Jesus. Well, it's for her son. Like,
anyway, I'm glad I got the CD.
This is peak Christian rock. What do you not think about it?
I'm not saying that. Sometimes you're like, I want to review the service. That was great. So the 3-star review was not for the service.
It was for the album.
It was for the album, but the service was excellent. So
I guess.
And that's a lot of reviews on Amazon, but I do love the ones where they're like, I loved how quickly I got this album that I didn't like 3 stars.
It's like, that's cool, but I wish it was delayed.
I don't know why you're ordering CDs you don't like.
All right. So for Critic Reviews, this is where it gets like really shisty too. So from All Music, they gave out of 5 stars, 2.5 stars by Corey Apar. The Red Jumpsuit Apparatus sounds nearly like what would result should Hawthorne Heights and Hoobastank had a love child. I feel like they're saying it negatively, but I don't see that as a net negative at all. I see it as a net positive.
When is this from?
This is from like 2008, 2007 area.
So, I mean, we've come around on Hoobastank likely since then. So now we feel very differently about these bands.
I think that's the top tier thing. They should include that in all their bios.
Also, with a mix of Hawthorne Heights and Hoobastank, it's like,
those are all great. I have no qualm. I don't think Hawthorne Heights wasn't bad that back then either. They've never been bad. Anyway, that's me and my own mind and tangent. Basically, alternative rock with occasional screamo tendencies. Their slick and accessible debut, Don't You Fake It, comes ready for radio airwaves while remaining just abrasive enough for the Warped Tour stage. Despite having a completely ridiculous name.
That's also true.
RJA is a competent group and their music is pleasant enough. But unfortunately, look past the gloss and too much of the record. This sounds like the quintet copying many of their contemporaries, Story of the Year, Jimmy Eat World, The Used, etc., so on, instead of calling a sound of their own. It's not that the band has to create something entirely new as memorable songs that can be crafted out of recycled elements, but this is where the band stumbles. Quieter moments supply some break from the album's steadfast urgency, as in the confessional Cat and Mouse, and the power ballad Your Guardian Angel. And Winter's voice does bring some needed maturity to the table, but unfortunately, it's all not quite enough to wash out the generic taste left in one's mouth by the end. The band may not be faking anything, but even earnestness isn't always enough.
Ronnie's a great singer.
Fantastic.
His vocals are so good on this record. I will say that. There's no critique on his vocals at all.
I think he's always been a very strong vocalist, even now.
Yeah, I agree.
From Punk News, who originally rated it 1.5 stars.
Wow.
By C. Boland. What is there to say about Red Jumpsuit Apparatus? They offer us 11 songs of average length, average sounding pop rock. Indeed, some PR folks may tell us this is emo. The guy sings not unlike the singer from Rise Against, and sometimes he or someone else cuts loose with a throat-shredding shout. It's all monochromatic. It's all very safe and predictable. It's all of what one should anticipate from the current onslaught of new wave pop bands masked under the guise of emo. Maybe it was the same well-paid major label and music media suits that adopted grunge as a marketing ploy.
Yeah.
Plenty of young music fans who will never own a stereo, let alone a turntable, will probably download this and get a few days out of the record. Then they'll delete it and move on to Jack's Mannequin or The Audition or whatever other flavor of the month cute boy band who is playing makeup and wearing guitar, as Paul Westerberg once astutely observed. Who am I to deny the youth of today what they crave, what they deserve? Does music like this sell like PlayStation 3? I want to think of this as an exclusively American phenomenon, like obesity or handgun fatalities. Hey, this is... With the majority of population overweight and statistically likely to suffer injury at the hands of a firearm. And said majority will listen to whatever...
He made a reference and then explained the reference. We know the oh my God.
You know what? I don't know who this person is. I didn't say that they were a good critic. It's on Punk News. And said majority will listen to whatever Steve Jobs or Simon Cowell tells them they should. So RJA, you are on Virgin Records. I hope you took the advance and put at least a small percentage into savings. You have this glossy, sugary, sweet production on your big rock record. Auto-tune and the click track served you well. Maybe Taking Back Sunday or Panic at the Disco will take you on tour and you'll get another year or two's worth of mileage out of this rock machine. Then there's always college. I really just feel like this person really just has beef with someone in Red Jumpsuit Apparatus.
No, this is just how these jaded writers had to write about this stuff. And honestly, it's writing from a place of like, look how mean I was. Look at all the references I made. Aren't I cool? It's
it's absolutely insane that some of these popped up here. Okay, this was silly. I think jokes on this guy because they're still very much relevant and around.
They are not relevant. They just have one song that's very popular.
They are relevant enough.
They are relevant to you.
Wow.
But now the big question: are we going to see them at When We Were Young and play this album?
I will be, because I also haven't seen them since I saw them in like, I don't even know what year, probably high school years. And I would like to see them again, especially for this album.
Yeah, I'll be there for Face Down. I feel like I'm going to take a break in the middle of the set and then maybe try to catch Your Guardian Angel, because I feel like
you'll probably go
the
get food
experience
real
of
quick.
Seeing the entire crowd singing that song along with the band is just a moment of perfection. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, I'm probably not going to watch the whole set. I'll catch the songs that I need to catch. And if I don't, I'm probably not going to feel that bad about it.
Okay.
That's how we feel. That's where we'll be at When We Were Young. Are we right? Are we wrong? Do you agree? Do you disagree?
Do you agree with all the critical reviews?
We've opened up the comments. Let us know. Drop a line in the comments. Let us know what you think. While you're down there, make sure to subscribe, because we have a lot more album reviews coming ahead on this channel, and we'd love to know your thoughts about all of them. So until then, Emo Social Club, Red Jumpsuit Apparatus, When We Were Young, we'll see you there.
Yeah.